and welcome back to the Property Hustle. Before I go any further with this video, make sure you click the subscribe button below and click the bell icon as well so you can get notifications every time I post. Now in today's episode we have a very special guest joining us. He goes by the name of TJ Atkinson. He is an author, a speaker, a property trainer and a serviced accommodation specialist. He's very well known in the property industry for his sort of no nonsense, no fluff attitude to life and business. So today we're going to delve into serviced accommodation, property and TJ Atkinson. So TJ, welcome to the Property Hustle.
I'm so shy.
What? This guy is a liar.
My hands are shaking.
No, they are not. Okay. You are probably the most confident person I know.
That's not true. That's not true. I would say half of it is an illusion.
Explain.
I think you're confident in moments. There's certain things I'm not confident in. Before I get on stage, I am literally pooing myself. Most people think, okay, this guy gets on stage, he's super confident. That's not the truth. A lot of it is an illusion. It's psyching yourself up, knowing that you have to perform and you have to do this.
Yeah.
Therefore you jump, because I can't go backwards. There's a room full of 100 people. So I either say, guys, I'm terrified, or you just do it. That's the mistake a lot of people make.
Yeah.
They allow the fear to consume them, and then they never do.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yes, Susan and Jeffers. Yeah, love the book.
Okay, cool. Well, you are, I'd say, quite well known in the property investing industry and space. I know you for doing a strategy called Serviced Accommodation, but for the benefit of the audience who might not know who you are, could you give us a little bit of background, a bit of flavour as to who you are, how you got into property, and then maybe talk a little bit about your particular strategy.
Okay, how long have we got? No, I'm joking. So some people would have heard my story before. As I said, I speak to people and I teach people about the strategy.
Yeah.
But I fell into serviced accommodation, complete mistake. So every time I've made money in life, I've fallen into it. Now, I had a business, a recruitment business in Germany. Things were going incredibly well.
Wait. A recruitment business in Germany?
Yes. That's why I asked you how long we've got. Okay, I'll tell you the story. So I finished university, I studied HR.
Okay.
I wanted to go into HR because what I thought HR was literally hiring and firing. And that's all. That's literally all I wanted to do. I think I was a bit of a control freak. I was like, I'm going to decide whether someone can feed their family, and then I'm going to decide if I hate them to get rid of them. That was my focus. 4-year degree. I didn't learn anything about HR. I just believed that's what it was. Came out of university looking for a HR job, and they say, hold on one second. You can't become a HR manager straight away. You've got to start as a HR assistant or admin.
Yeah.
So I got my first job, and I think I'm pushing paper. I'm filing documents. I'm struggling to use Excel. I was like, listen, this isn't going to happen. But the second thing I knew about HR, which isn't true, was recruitment. So I decided to try and get into recruitment. Just my style, and I've been like this. I'm a bit of I hate to call myself a renegade. I'm all about freedom. I'm seeking freedom, which is why I don't fit into most circles. Yeah. I want to do things in my own way because I have this idea, or I've seen someone doing it and I'm like, that works, I'm going to try and implement it my own way. Try to get jobs in a recruitment company. Why do you want to work here? Well, because I'm going to be the best salesperson. And they're like, you're not really, you haven't even had a job here before, you don't even know anything. So I decided to start my own recruitment company, which is how my brain works. It's, if I can't fit into this and I know recruitment works and people are making a killing, then if they can do it, then let me try it. The worst that's going to happen is I can't do it and I beg someone for a job. Yeah. So I tried to start a recruitment company called WorkCube with my business partner. Now, my mum said, look, if you're going to be serious about this stuff, let me at least help you. That's after I've begged her and begged her. So we started off this recruitment company. My mum gutted her entire garage, turned it into my first ever office. So I still have that office right now, and so I go in there when I go to see my mum. I'm like, oh, this is where it all started from. This is where I made my first pound in business. And things started going well. We started getting a few gigs, recruiting for a few people. One day I went to Frankfurt to visit a friend, and I fell in love with the place. Not because I didn't fall in love with the place, I fell in love with the women there. I was like, I said, whoa, hold on one second. All these women, they're all hot, they're all nice. Yeah. So I persuaded my business partner. We sat down and had a meeting just like this. I said, listen, Roman, I've got this business idea and I want you to hear me out. I think we should move to Germany. He was like, how does that make sense? So we're recruiting a lot of the finance guys from Germany to banks and financial companies in these areas.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I still don't get it. I said, trust me on this, let's move to Germany. We moved to Germany. Didn't make sense at all. We didn't speak the language. We didn't understand the ethics. I went into a meeting, my first ever meeting. I'm like, hi guys, how are you? My name's TJ. Just doesn't work like that, because when you're in Rome, do like the Romans or whatever it is. We recruited a young man, turned the business around, and it grew exponentially. Tons and tons of staff, tons and tons of money being made. And then one day we missed the payment cycle. So for the people who work in this sort of environment, you know that in some businesses, you invoice and you get paid in a 60 or 90 day cycle. We had missed the payment cycle for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Accountant comes in, business closes down. I come back, tail between my legs. My mum had already moved an auntie or an uncle into my room, so the only place I had now was my office.
Oh, okay.
So that became my room.
Okay.
My mum says, listen, enough is enough. As Nigerian parents, listen, if you're Nigerian and you're a parent watching this, you've got to support your kids a bit more.
Yeah.
So my mum, her way of supporting me was get up and go and do something.
Yeah.
And I was moping around crying. I started hanging around with my cousin, again, for women. He said, listen, we're going to this club. When you were in Germany, we're going to Central London Club. You've got to start getting back into the game of finding girls. So I started hanging around with him, and he started hanging around with some Asian kids. Asian kids their dad had a lot of property. The dad then said to me, after hanging around with these kids for quite some time, he said, listen, TJ, I've heard your story. I know what you've been able to do before. I know you're a hard worker. Here's 20 properties. So I officially started my property journey with someone giving me 20 properties.
Get out of here.
Absolutely.
Just from your experience and knowing that you are good in business.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
See, this is the thing.
That's mad.
You hear a lot of the gurus saying, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Tell people what you do.
Yeah.
That was the first-hand experience, and that's why I shout. That's why you see me on Facebook posting every single second. I'm telling the world what I do.
This guy.
Because that's the key to actually. It's informal marketing. It's cheap marketing, because everyone's on Facebook, chilling on Facebook, looking at videos of cats and dogs, and then you see TJ being loud and obnoxious to some people.
Yeah.
But you watch my content, you get to know my story, you understand what I stand for, you want to work with me.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson to every single person. If you're doing something, even if you're new, tell your story. Gary Vee talks about it all the time. Show people what you're doing.
Exactly.
Take people on your journey. So Mr. Yusuf handed him 20 properties because his son was messing around. His son had calculated, because his dad was worth 6 million. He had said, well, when my dad dies, I get 2 million. My brother gets 2 million. My mum gets 1 million. And my sister gets 1 million. So again, I don't know. I think it's a bit sexist, but that's probably the culture.
Okay.
So the dad said, bam, there you go. The dad said to me, one thing he said, do you know how to manage properties? I was like, yeah, of course. Because I think I'd...
How to manage properties in Google!
Word for word. All that was going through my head.
I always say yes and figure it out later.
That's the thing. So Richard Branson, if someone offers you an opportunity, you don't know what the heck to do or say yes. All I said was, Mr. Yusuf, yeah, of course I can. Google, how to be an estate agent. That's what I typed in.
Oh.
The first thing that came up was Airbnb.
Okay.
That's when Airbnb started becoming quite prominent. I put every single property that I could that was reasonable or looked decent on Airbnb.
Okay.
At the end of the month, I took out all the money that I've made, transferred it from my PayPal account to my normal account, took all the money out, put it in a rucksack, because I watch a lot of gangster movies. I always wanted to walk around with cash.
Top Boy.
Yeah, that's what... Listen, if you haven't watched Top Boy, give it a shot.
Definitely do. Shout out to Theo, my brother's friend, who's on the new series of Top Boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And my cousin, Arnold, was on the original first ever episode
Arnold,
of
Theo,
Top Boy.
I'm looking for a gig, you know? No, but I went to Mr. Yusuf's house with my cash in the bag, and he's I think he's like an old school gangster as well, not literally a gangster. So I put all the money in front of him, and he sits there absolutely dead quiet, counting.
You
And then he
sweating.
I was sweating. Do you know what the problem is? I was sweating, thinking, did I steal something? And I know I didn't take anything. Yes. So I was just like, did I mistakenly buy chicken and chips? Did I take £10 out? Did I pay for my bus fare? He slides £3,000 across the table to me. Quietly, no words. But remember, at that point, I've just come back from a failed business. I don't want to talk about money. I don't want money. All I'm doing is so my mum doesn't throw me out, and it's just to get back in the game.
Yeah.
First thing I did was I called my mum. I said, Mum, listen, I'm in a bit of trouble here. There's a man trying to give me money. My mum said, put him on the phone. My mum said to him in her Nigerian accent, why are you trying to give my son money? I don't know why I do that all the time, because my Nigerian accent is so bad, it almost sounds like another language, but you get the point of what she was saying. What are you trying to do? Why are you trying to get my son in trouble? And the man said something which my mum got as a Christian. She said, if a man works, he should eat. And at that point, my mum said, take that money and go and buy me some shoes and bags.
Yeah.
Literally. Relationship ended up breaking down.
Okay.
Because the sons got jealous, or there was a misunderstanding somewhere, handed back all the properties. But that's when I went literally crazy. I discovered that, hold on, I've made a ton of money and I didn't own that property.
Yeah.
So I ran around the entire country calling landlord agents. Hi, I want to sublet your... I didn't know what to say.
Oh.
Hi, I want to sublet your property.
I feel like we should just take a moment to actually explain the service accommodation model in like a quick sentence, because I'm sure there's people watching who don't know what it is. They might know what Airbnb is, but they don't actually know the kind of the package.
Service accommodation essentially is providing hotel-like services. So the model that we teach is you find a property, you say, hi, Mr. Agent, Mrs. Agent, with your permission, I want to rent your property. I want to rent your property with your permission. I want to re-rent it out to 4 different types of people. Number 1, contractors. Number 2, corporates. Number 3, groups. Number 4, leisure. The reason why I make sure my clients and my mentees and my trainees say it in that way is for the avoidance of any doubt.
Yeah.
The landlord or the agent knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I've said, I want to rent your property with your permission.
Yes.
To re-rent it out to 4 different types of people. So no one can say, you took on my property and I didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah.
And it stops anyone that I teach.
And then it's on them as the owner of the property to make sure that they are compliant.
Absolutely.
So their mortgage, their insurance.
Absolutely. Whereas when I first started, as I just mentioned, I was running around.
Can I sublet your property, please?
No, literally, that was my pitch.
Go away.
It wasn't even that. I was like... Because there was no script. I didn't know. I didn't know this was a model. I didn't know it was a real thing. I'd experienced it firsthand. So I said, hi, I'm looking for a property to rent to some people. They're going to be staying for 1 night and 2 nights. And it was just it was counterproductive. It didn't make sense because I didn't understand it. So how are they going to understand it? But a year later, my phone started ringing. Literally ringing off. It took a whole year. It took a whole year because what happened was people I would call, let's make up the date, let's say in January, they would rent out the place to someone else. They would start getting an understanding about Airbnb. Airbnb would be advertising. Other people might call them. They're starting to educate themselves on it. But the property's already let. So by the time the tenancy finishes a year later, they've now understood it. Oh, hi TJ, you called us a year ago about this property in Waterloo. Are you still interested? And I was like, no, I'm not interested anymore because I've already got properties in this location, that location, that location. And again, that's how I fell into deal packaging. But that's for another story.
Yeah. So you've kindly explained to us what serviced accommodation is. What would you say is the biggest myth that people have about serviced accommodation? And how would you dispel that myth right now for our viewers?
So there is a myth. Well, there are a number of ones. Find a property in any location and you will make £1,000, £2,000 per month. Utter, complete nonsense. Biggest nonsense. A lot of trainers say, and I get it, headline figures. If we wanted to be dodgy, we could say, find a property and you can generate £7,000 per month. And in a sense, that's true, but it's not honest because a business generates £1 billion, but their profit is significantly less. So what I teach people is how to make £500 a month on a property. Now, it's not every single location that works. That's a pile of crap as well. It's just another way that people use to entice people to join their training courses or to get into service accommodation. So, can you make money in service accommodation? Absolutely. Will you make those headline figures? No, you will not. Should you be careful? Yes. Should you be very conservative with your figures? Yes. That's it.
Okay, cool. And if you were to break it down in terms of, let's take a property. It's, let's say it's a house in a good location. talk through high-level numbers, pick arbitrary figures, just to like actually break it down so people can understand the numbers and the figures around it.
I can give you figures of maybe one or two of my units as well. So I have some units in Docklands, and I pay, let me think of one, 1,650 for one of them. I pay all the rent. So
Is that how many beds?
2 bed.
2 beds.
2 bed. So I pay the council tax, I pay the gas, the electric, the TV, the insurance. I pay all the costs associated with the business. Sorry, I just want to kind of touch on something quickly. Service accommodation is a full-fledged business, not a strategy.
Okay.
It's been preached as a strategy. A strategy means any single person can apply one or two little gimmicks or one or two things and do it. Not every single person can run a business and run it successfully. Service accommodation is a business with several moving parts.
Okay.
You don't go and start a Tesco supermarket without going through the management program. Did you go through a management program here?
Yeah, well, a training program.
A training program, absolutely. That's to give you an understanding about how the entire business works.
Yeah.
But every single person wants to fly into service accommodation without getting some training, without understanding the several moving parts. So again, let me go back to the figures, sorry. So,
right.
1,650 to the landlord.
That's all in?
That's for the rent, just the rent. And then, then around £300 in bills.
Okay.
Then around 15% to Booking.com.
Okay.
And around 2.5 to 3% on credit card fees.
Okay.
So these are the figures that I use.
Okay.
So
Booking.com is the platform on which you advertise your units.
Yes. So
for
Booking.com in a good location is where you'll probably get 50 to 75% of your bookings.
Okay.
Now, as I mentioned before, what we try and do is analyze a deal on worst case scenario. So on our deal analyzer, we're analysing the deal based on us getting all our bookings on Booking.com, which means I'm giving that 15% away regardless. And then I factor in credit card fees, which we do it based on 3%. Most credit card fees is around 1.2, 1.5, 1.9%. But again, we want worst case just to protect ourselves.
Okay.
We rent out that same property for around £150 per night.
Okay.
If you're in a good location, you're looking at 70% occupancy.
Okay.
So 150 per night at 70% occupancy, which is 21.6 nights, brings in 3,150 per month. Now, a lot of people will get excited and think that's their profit because they forget you're running a business that has cost. So the business costs are the rent, £300 in bills, 15% to Booking.com, which is 500 and something pound, 100 and something pound for credit card fees. It means that specific property makes me £433 per month.
Okay.
Which I'm happy with. Many people are not. But the aim of service accommodation is scaling up.
Yes.
So you want to get the foundations correct. You want to learn all the lessons that you're supposed to learn from the foundations of your business. Take another unit, take another unit, take another unit, and build up. People are looking for the big figures.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people are failing and not making money in this business.
Okay. Personally, so I learned about serviced accommodation, but I quickly discounted it as a business.
As a business, yeah.
For me, mainly because it just seemed very time intensive, and a lot of management around it. In terms of, in some cases, there are people that will find a unit or property that would be good for serviced accommodation and hand it over to a serviced accommodation provider. I understand you provide that kind of a service, or
no? Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. No.
But so if someone wants to generate that kind of passive income through serviced accommodation, but doesn't want to be the person on the ground running and managing it, how can they go about finding a good service accommodation provider that's actually going to meet their kind of monthly requirements?
And I might get some backlash on this.
Okay. Ooh, spill the tea!
Yeah, no.
Spill the tea!
Well, no, I'm joking. I'm not going to name anyone.
Okay.
But the fact is, I don't think that there are many reputable service accommodation management companies.
Okay.
Going back to the beginning of your question, should people get a management company to run their service accommodation? Depends on your situation. If you're full-time and you don't have the time to run your business and you are eager to get into service accommodation, the first thing that I teach any of my clients, most of them are still full-time, is understand the strategy first.
Yeah.
So it means put some money down, get some training, get some education, and clean one of the bathrooms and the toilet and everything yourself.
And live in it as well.
And live in it.
Sleep
Every
in it.
single one of my units I've slept in. 24 hours, sometimes when I'm trying to escape people, I'll stay in there for a very, very long time. But you've got to be able to feel it because you're selling this product. But the main reason, just going back to that, is if you don't understand the business, how do you expect to hand it over to someone else? Because I've seen situations before, and I've been involved in situations before, where someone's handing over a property, things go bad with the management company, now you're stuck with an asset, but you don't understand the business. So guess what? Until you find another company, but this time you're more cautious, you're losing money. You can't say to the landlord, oh, Mr. Landlord, I'm sorry, but I'll pay you your money next month and next month because I don't know how the business works. Big mistake people are making. Get an understanding, learn about the strategy. I'm not saying be in the business, but be on the business, understand the business so that you can outsource.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to outsource, everyone's trying to give it away. That's fine if you don't have the time.
Yeah.
But understand the business first so you can do so. Now, going back to the management companies. You guys are crap. Can I say crap on here?
I mean...
Yeah, I know it's a bit sharp, isn't it? Yeah.
You've just done it.
No,
you just done it.
I don't... There are not many reputable. The reason I say this, actually, my main thing, if I was to hand over all my properties now to a management company, there's just one thing I would need them to do. Every single person can arrange cleaners, which is the hardest part in this business, finding a good cleaner. Everyone can list your property on Booking.com, Airbnb, TripAdvisor, so-and-so. But not every single management company has the time or the facility to optimize your rates. Now, optimizing your rates is where you make the real money. Because most people, most service accommodation operators operate static prices. It means they do their analysis just like what we just done a second ago, and they leave that price the same for the entire 2 years or 3 years, which is a big mistake because Christmas is coming up, Easter's coming up, there's an event going on in your area. So for our units in Docklands and Canary Wharf, when we've got the marathon coming, when Tony Robbins is coming, when this person is coming, you've got to have someone that optimizes your rates so you can make as much as possible. The whole idea of service accommodation is to find somebody's assets. They've taken on the liability. All you're doing is you're milking that asset for the little change that you can, and that little change can be £500 to £1,000, but you haven't had to buy the assets. It's the most incredible strategy. Should everyone be doing service accommodation? Absolutely. Whether you are busy, you shouldn't.
Should be, but I mean...
Can do and should be different. But if you desire to, you can find a way to do it. So, for example, I know you find it quite stressful. You found it quite tedious.
I mean, just the thought, like, when I read into it, I was already stressed just reading about it. I thought, it's not for me.
There are different ways in which you can run it. As I said, the management company. You've got to work hard to find one. But then there's lock boxes. Give a quick shout out to a Key Nest. I don't know if you know Key Nest. I don't know why I'm giving them a shout out, but you guys, they're doing a great job actually. So the Key Nest team, what they do is they run around the entire country. They build relationships with supermarkets, petrol stations, places that open.
So they have like keys, dock stations, as it were. Like,
essentially, that's
like
what they
Amazon lockers, but for keys.
In corner shops and so and so. So your guest will get the correspondence, go and pick up your key from A to B petrol station, Nisa supermarket.
I mean, that in itself is a business.
But he's doing well. He's doing really, or they are doing really well. So service accommodation can be run. Understand the intricacies, just like every single business. Once you understand that, then you know whether someone's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. You know whether the management company is really paying you out what you're supposed to be paying out. But if you don't know, you don't know. So you're willingly or jumping into something that's not going to work well for you.
So how long have you been doing service accommodation?
On and off since 2014.
Quick math.
Quick math. Wow.
Okay. I could have sworn you've done it longer.
No. 2014. 2013, to be completely honest with you, is when I was working with these Asian kids that brought me into it. But when I went off on my own journey, it was around 2014. So it's around 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, it's 5 years.
Okay.
I know you thought I've been doing it since forever.
In my mind, I thought you were 10 years.
No. How would you think I am?
So, in your time of doing service accommodation, tell me the worst experience that you've had, whether it was a guest, I don't know, one of the people you work with, companies that you outsource.
Because I talk so much, I'm going to tell you like 5 of them, but in a nutshell.
Okay.
The first one, my worst experience, and this is when I was cleaning the properties myself. I was cleaning for a good few years.
I've just had an image of going into a toilet and finding. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Continue.
So there was a specific guest, Spanish guy. He said, TJ, I need to check in early. I arrived, I want to check in early. I said, you cannot check in early because I'm going to clean this apartment and then run to clean this one. It's not going to be ready yet. I must check in early. Da, da, da. We ended up having some sort of argument. Because back in the days, I used to be my cleaner and customer service.
Oh.
I'm not good with customer service. So I said, listen, mate, if you don't, I'm going to cancel your booking. I'll go away. Da, da, da. So he was angry. He stayed for 2 or 3 days. I went back in the apartment. And as I walked into the apartment, it just felt very humid. And I was like, God, these people are dogs. They're disgusting people. They didn't open the windows. Maybe whatever they were cooking smells. So I'm cleaning the entire apartment. And I always clean the bathrooms last. So as I get into the shower, because I'm cleaning inside the shower, I clean it, but I'm just like, okay, cleaning the whole thing. Now it goes to clean the toilet. And I'm like, something smells. Maybe he's left a big pile of poo in the toilet. So I open the toilet, and there's nothing in there. So I'm wondering, saying, what the heck is going on? Where's that smell? My new guest has come in. I've got to find what this smell is and air out the whole place.
Yeah.
Just behind the toilet seat, there was, let me try, probably about this size. So it must have been a build-up of poo. Just about that size worth of poo, just on the side of the toilet, just waiting for me. And I had to scoop it up.
On the floor?
Yeah, you're on the floor. You decided to poo on the floor, just next to the toilet as a gift for me. Service accommodation, it's incredible. But a lot of people are going to get scared off now. But the fact is, every single business has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
But it pays to know that these things are going to happen. That's why I don't hide it. Think about it this way. And this is the logic I apply when I'm doing events. If you're able to pull in £500 to £1,000 per month from a property that you have no real liability, and you haven't had to buy it, you haven't had to put on a 25% deposit, then you've got to expect that the trade-off is going to be hard work or some form of issues.
Yeah.
And you've got to be willing to climb over those issues, because
too many people want to make passive income passive, but it's just not. It doesn't.
It just doesn't happen.
No,
it's not. It can be passive. So my service accommodation units are passive. I work 5 hours a week at the most on my service accommodation business because I have staff.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it long enough to know the lifestyle I want to live, which is I travel all the time. So it's either I run the business or I don't run the business and I travel.
Yeah.
And I say, listen, travel's more important, so I've got to build the business around it.
Yeah.
But that's 5 years or 6 years of putting things in place to ensure me the ability to travel. So it's not passive, it can be passive. If you're just starting, forget about it being passive. If you're going to go for a management company, get an understanding of it first, then try and make it as passive as possible.
Great. Ooh, so
I love
experiences.
to talk. I love to talk.
No, it's all right. We like people that talk on this channel. So you run the Breakthrough Academy.
Yes, I do.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is your academy where you teach people everything that you know and have learned about service accommodation and are helping people become financially free. Now, another thing that you're very vocal about on social media, which I absolutely love, is your faith.
Yeah.
You are a Christian.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Yes.
And I love your posts on a Sunday, like quick church.
Yeah, quick church.
Because church ain't quick.
No, because that's why I put it.
You're not.
But no one gets the
this
joke.
guy goes to the My guy just be there
But
singing
no one
praise.
gets it. Because I'm there, quick church, quick Sunday service, and I'm there saying,
It's a good thing your business runs itself, because church alone.
Yeah. But you know what? Before I got to the place that it ran itself, I missed church so much. So much to the point that my mum would say, are you coming to church? Are you doing this? You cannot serve God and serve man. And I'm like, Mum, listen.
Interestingly enough, that's the passage that I was teaching the children's. So I go to church and I run our children's ministry, our children's kids church. And last week's passage was from Luke and talking about you can't serve both God and money. Which leads me on to the question that I have for you. So,
great.
As a Christian, I'm sure there are people out there that will say, "Oh well, TJ, how can you be teaching people to be financially free and you're teaching people to love wealth and chase success and wealth, but isn't that going against your Christian values, your Christian morals?" What is your response to those people?
Shut up. Literally, that's my answer. Shut up. Look, just to clarify just a few things, because
Yeah.
I know this is going to go out there and you've got tons and tons of viewers that are going to watch this. So I don't teach people how to be financially free. I teach people how to experience a financial breakthrough. Now, that means if it teaches you how to make an additional £100, and that £100 is going to help your house not be repossessed, that £100 is going to help you pay an additional bill or help your child go to an extracurriculum class. That's what I try and teach people. Because if I can show you that you can make more money, then what you go and do with that is entirely up to you. Some people, like my mum, she makes more money so she can give to the church.
Yeah.
So is my mum financially free? Well, she's retired, but I hate the term financially free because I'm not financially free and I make a ton of money. I teach people how to get into property. So I just wanted to differentiate two things. So I teach two sets of people. I teach Christians, which we'll talk about that in a second, but I also teach people like myself. So that's the reason why I created a Breakthrough Academy, because I want to teach people how to experience a breakthrough. So going back to people like myself, people who, look, put it this way, you might be able to, I don't know if you're allowed to say it, but you probably have this understanding as well. Property is deemed to be a rich old white man sport.
Yes.
So coming from where I come from, maybe where you also come from, there's this idea in our head that this is for them. We can never make enough money to buy property. So this is why I take what I know and I take it back, in essence, to the hood. And I say, no, but look at it this way. This is actually my truth. I've taken service accommodation and deal packaging back to the hood, back to some of my friends who were on the path or trajectory for crime. And I've said, yo, you man, you're there doing stupid stuff from the hood. I don't know what your audience is. So friends, my brethren. No, I'm joking.
My brethren.
Yeah, my brethren. So you guys are making £1,000, £2,000, but you're doing stuff that's going to get you in trouble.
Yes.
I've discovered a strategy that means you can make money from property legitimately. I have about 10 friends who are now doing serviced accommodation or selling deals.
Yeah.
In my opinion, all I'm doing is I'm opening the gates for these people to see a different light.
Yeah.
So going back to Christians, why do I train Christians? I think there's a fundamental issue in the body of Christ. There's this idea of, I want to be rich, I'm a child of God, therefore I deserve to be rich. Nobody deserves to be rich. The only people that deserve to be rich are the people who put their hands in there and work. So there's this idea in the Christendom that God's given us everything. And if I pray and pray and pray hard enough, it means God's going to send money to my front door. It's just like the book The Secret. Now, again, the book is great, but The Secret gives the impression that you've just got to sit there and wait for money to land in your lap. And it's not going to happen. There are processes to receive money. There are processes to create wealth. God has taught people processes. God has shown people processes. Learn those processes. Yeah. So I spend a lot of my time training Christians and saying, remove that silly mindset. Remove the idea that
you can't be rich.
People, first and foremost, as a Christian, you're called to have impact. You're called to bring people to Christ. In my opinion, in 2019, in order to draw people to your religion or to Christ, you've got to be able to meet them at their point of need. So two ways. It's either you go out in the high street, someone's got a broken leg or someone's got an illness, and you put your hand on them and you pray for them and they become well. Or you meet them at their point of need. They're about to be thrown out on the street. You say, listen, I feel the urge, or I feel God has told me to give you £10,000 to deal with this situation. Credit to God. That's what I'm trying to teach people to do. You can only have more impact when you have more. I'm trying to teach people you can be more, do more, and give more. But if you haven't got any money in your pocket, then what influence, what impact are you going to have? In fact, you're a burden to society because we're taken. But you're saying, well, I believe in God, and my Father is God, and therefore the land and the earth and everything thereof is mine. But you're taken as opposed to giving. So I challenge Christians. I'm saying enough is enough. Let's find a way to create wealth so that we're not burdens to anyone, but we can actually go out there and show people and give people. Stop taking and be the person that's delivering and giving. And that's why I spend a lot of my time just trying to wake people, I shake them and say, wake up, wake up, wake up. Enough is enough. That's it.
Amen.
Amen.
And here ends the sermon.
Amen. Yes, sorry, that was an entire.
Do you know what? I watch you speak and I'm like, this guy would have been a pastor in another life.
I hear that a lot.
Genuinely.
Some people still. That's why I call myself the property preacher. Yes, because I get it a lot. After some of my presentations, people come up to me, Christians, God, listen, have you ever considered being a pastor? I'm like, I'm not considering being a pastor. I've got to be called to be a pastor. And I don't know if that pastor's getting enough of that money.
Well, you want to speak to the South African pastor?
You know what? Some of them are. Yeah, some of them are.
Don't get me started on that.
I know.
Oh, my
but
goodness.
that's another topic.
Yeah. We'll park that
we'll
one
leave
there.
that for the meantime.
Okay, so some people don't know that you are a published author.
Yes, I am.
3 times.
Yes.
Published author, and you have brought one of your books with you today to show
actually.
us. The latest one, Untangling Success. Let's get that right in there. Yeah, Untangling Success.
Yes.
So in this book, you talk about the 6 key principles to having
whatever you want.
Whatever the heck you want.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, whatever the heck.
That title in itself is so you.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it?
So obviously, I don't want you to give away all of the principles because people have to go ahead and buy it. It's available on Amazon. But could you give us one, maybe the major key?
Okay.
To quote
DJ
Khaled
in the house.
Give us the major key principle.
Okay. 2. I can't give. Do you know when people ask me to do
this guy?
I can never give one.
Do you know what? We've ran through a whole memory card. Okay, a whole memory card.
I've just got so much to give.
Okay.
I wrote this book to wake up people. There's this understanding about everyone's entitled to success. If you work a little bit hard, you're going to be successful. That's not the truth. Again, I believe in processes and systems. In order to be successful, you've got to understand certain things and go the opposite direction. So this book, once you read it, it talks about my love for women. I'm not calling myself whatever, but I wrote it in that sense, in terms of if success was a woman, how would you win her over?
Okay.
So that's what the topics are all about. Success is a damsel in distress. She wants to be won over. However, you've got to approach her correctly. So it's the same as everyone wants to achieve success, but you're going about it the wrong way. So one of the key principles in the book is something I call put your money where your mouth is. We reward ourselves for all the good stuff that we do. So you win a contract at work, so you say, oh my God, I'm going on holiday. You do something for yourself. You hit your target in the gym, so you reward yourself by having a cheat meal. You just do something and there's a reward. How about we flip it on the head? How about you talk a lot of crap, and when you fail at something, you don't punish yourself. So on the flip side is, we want the reward for all the good stuff. But what about when you don't achieve the goal that you set out? Because think about it this way. We make commitments to our spouses, to our kids. So my commitment to my spouse is, I will love you and I will cherish you and I'll never leave you. My commitment to my kids are, I'm going to raise you and look after you and be the best parent possible. But we keep those commitments. We do everything to come across as we're honest, promise-keeping people. But yet we never keep the promises to ourselves. Why? Because there are no immediate consequences.
Yeah.
I want to start a business. If you don't start the business, what happens? Nothing. I want to earn a certain amount of money. If I don't, nothing, because I'm still able to survive.
Yeah.
The book challenges you to flip and wake up, saying, listen, enough talking, apply the principles, apply the 6 steps to your life, and you start to see changes immediately. It was about 2 years ago that I came up with the concept of putting your money where your mouth is. I was talking a lot of crap about writing one of my books. This was another book. Communicative Magic, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I said,
following you for a while.
Yeah, Communicative Magic. And if you are looking to get deals done, Communicative Magic on Amazon's your book. But either way, so I said, I'm going to write this book. But I'm busy traveling. I'm busy living my life. And then someone said, when is this book going to come out? Because you know what you're talking about. I want to read this book. And I kept on delaying. So I went on Facebook and I put a £3,000 bounty down. I think this happened around, I'm going to make up the dates, but let's say it happened in February. So I said, I have 3 months. So February, March, April, May. So let's say
you can't do maths.
I can't do maths. Yeah. But either way, I gave myself a 3-month period. And I said, if I don't write this book in 3 months, who wants to win £3,000? Tag yourself. There were hundreds of people that said, me. Everyone wanted to take my money. And guess what happened?
You wrote the book.
I absolutely wrote the book 2 days before completion.
Wow.
Published everything before. But if there was nothing on the line, You can't call yourself a business person if you're willingly going to lose money. So guess what that does? It forces you to take action, because clearly we're not as hardworking and we're not as disciplined as we think we are. So how about using the external thing that we all care about and we're working for to motivate us?
Yes.
That's one of the key concepts. The second one, become selfish. Now, when I was speaking to my pastor about this, you cannot say that. I said, absolutely. Because every single person is trying to carry an entire village, but there's only one hunter.
Yes.
You're saying, listen, I'm going out there and I'm going to do this. I'm going to feed this person.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. You wear yourself so thin that you're ineffective.
Yeah.
But the reason why I say people should be selfish is most of the time, when we're trying to help everyone, it's not really to help them. It's actually ego-based. We're really doing this for ourselves to feel good, to feel like we're powerful. But think about this. I talk about Roger Bannister, who was the first person to run a 1 minute mile.
Yeah.
It was impossible until he did
A
it.
4 minute mile.
Was it 4 minute mile?
Yeah, you
4
said 1 minute. That would have been fast. That was a road runner. The 4 minute mile.
4 minute mile.
Yeah.
After he did it, the year later, someone else did it.
Yeah.
After that, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6. The reason I'm saying people should be selfish is most people just want to see you go through and open the gates for them.
Yes.
That's what we've got to understand. Most of the time, they don't need a handout. They just need to know that it's possible. So if you focus on getting yourself out of the gate, being an example, which is why I put myself out there, and I'm trying to be an example to people like myself who come from a certain environment, who don't think it's possible to make a crap load of money. It is possible, but you've got to start learning. And I wish I discovered books a long time ago. I read a book by Brian Tracy, The Psychology of Selling, years ago, 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that he discovered events and books. And I wish I'd cottoned on, because I was like, events, what's that? And that was when I was reading the book. But now I see it, because I didn't know that I had access to learning from people using my copycat model. I didn't know I had access to gaining knowledge that I would never have found anywhere else, especially keeping in my environment. So I'm telling people, read more books, go to seminars, go to events. Even if you're scared that you're going to get upsold, which there's nothing wrong with. Yes, we have to make a living by upselling to you. But even if you're scared, take the bits of information and apply the tiny bits of information. That's all I've got to say, guys.
Almost at the end of the interview.
Yes.
One question that I've always wanted to ask you.
Oh, God.
What does TJ stand for?
Tolu Jacob.
Tolu Lope! as in, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got a
because you know
full-blown
what?
African name.
I always thought, because
No one's got
this
TJ.
is me being very stereotypical, but because of your name, I just assumed you were Caribbean.
Yeah, because they've got some funky names.
Yeah.
No. It's an abbreviation.
Okay.
Tolu Jacob.
Jacob.
In some places, some people call me Jacob. Some of my estate agents know me as Jacob. Only my.
It's weird hearing you call yourself Jacob.
I know it sounds weird, isn't it? Right?
Jacob.
Yeah. My mum hated the name Jacob because biblically.
Yeah.
Why would you call yourself Jacob? Jacob's not a good name. It's what it is.
So she didn't name you Jacob?
No, it's a name that I chose when I got a little bit older, and I chose to rename myself and just to kind of Englishify my name.
Englishify.
So yeah. So
Okay.
I added those names, and it became official.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm Tolu Jacob, TJ.
TJ.
But don't call me Tolu, call me TJ.
Well, thank you so much for coming on
No, thank
today.
you so much.
Before we wrap up, if people want to follow you, stay in touch with you, see what you're doing, maybe attend some of your courses, buy some of your books, how can they access you? How can they
Okay, the
reach
first
you?
thing anyone needs to do before they contact me is get my book on Amazon. Not because I care about making sales on Amazon. The royalties are not much. I want every single person to be on the same page. I want every single person to know why they are getting into property or why they want to change their lives. And I believe this book is a foundational book. I've been told, it might not be true, I've been told it's actually one of the top 3 best self-development books of all time. Now that might be nonsense, but I'm starting to believe it because of the reviews that I'm getting. It's changing lives. But if you want to get in touch with me, find me on Instagram. It's at TJA Life, and Facebook, TJ Atkinson.
Cool.
That's it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you guys for watching. That concludes our interview for today. Hope you found it useful. If you did, be sure to click the subscribe button and click the bell icon as well to get notifications every time I post.